This is Abdul Habib of Cricistan.com with the West Indian fast bowling legend Michael Holding. Michael, thanks for agreeing to do this interview with Cricistan.com.
No problem.
You were part of the world-beating West Indies side, and the Pakistan team of that era was also one of the top three sides in the world. What do you think went wrong for both teams, because they're nowhere near what they used to be?
Well, Pakistan and the West Indies have had similar problems as far as the organisation of their cricket is concerned. Pakistan have produced a lot of individual brilliant cricketers, so too the West Indies. But if you don't have the real team in the real name team, the real meaning of the word team, you're going to struggle. Pakistan have had problems with their administration, their cricket administration, so have the West Indies. So I think there are a few similarities there.
And teams that at the time were struggling, like Australia and England, have now come quite far. And do you think some of it is down to the difference in methodology? Like Australia and England, they're so much into their fitness and they're a very professional setup, including the board and everything, whereas West Indies and Pakistan, it's still a little bit amateur, isn't it?
No, I think all teams are into fitness. I think all teams now put a lot of effort into fitness and nutrition and things like that. I don't think that has anything to do with Australia and England playing good cricket at the moment. South Africa are playing very good cricket. Sri Lanka at times have played some very good cricket. All teams are putting a lot of emphasis on fitness. I think it's a matter of the infrastructure that you have got in your respective country and the administration that you have got that can organize things. I think that is the most important thing as far as producing cricketers are concerned. Obviously, you got to have some talent, but if you have the proper infrastructure and the proper administration to make sure that things go smoothly, you have a very good chance of producing some good teams.
You've played 19 one-day internationals against Pakistan, but I came across a very interesting stat today.